Oh my god, that's amazing. What the fuck, Richard? Top comment. Honestly, if his name wasn't Richard, this wouldn't be funny. I there's a point to that. That was like 8 million views. That's amazing. What the fuck, Richard?
It's a classic. Alec, welcome back to Survivor Palau.
There's just so much sincerity in his voice. I'm telling you, it's real good to be here. Let me tell you.
What happened last episode?
Oh boy, it has been a little bit since we have recorded. So, Kobe got voted out. I did remember that.
True.
Well, we had a whole scenario where Stephanie came back all by herself, and it was really weird. And kind of bizarre that the fact that the people were like, yeah, we're really gonna just hone on the fact that she's all by herself here. We're just gonna let her like suffer.
She truly was.
Yeah.
All by herself.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of Kobe focus on the episode because it is his episode to leave, but he tried to sort of play maybe a little too aggressively, a little too openly in terms of what he was doing.
For sure.
He was getting kind of fed up with everybody, and I think his impatience got the better of him.
I mean, I've been really enjoying Survivor lately. Survivor 41 is out, and I've been there's stuff in there. I'm like, man, I wish you could see that.
I know.
So the fact that it's still at season 41, there's still more stuff where I'm like, man, that'll be fun for him to watch. It's a lot of fun ahead of us.
Yeah, well, I will say this. This is the first episode where I was like kind of having a really good time. I felt like,
only episode 9.
Yeah, on episode 9. It's not quite like the game begins kind of levels, but it did take a little bit for things to sort of start happening and start feeling like it's more than just
Yeah.
But
so you did your power rankings last episode, which ended up being Tom, Ian, Steph, Greg, Karen, Katie, Jen, Janu. So if that holds true, we'll say goodbye to Janu.
Yeah, I mean, Janu was like completely shocked, like beyond for the fact
she
that
was there. Yeah.
She was even, that she's still around too. Because I think
whether you'll like it or not, Janu.
Yeah,
be here.
That was like one of those like where what was it? There was that happened a couple seasons ago where they kept someone around. They didn't even want. Yeah, she didn't even want to be there anymore, and
famously, she was falling apart.
She was falling apart. Yeah.
She was doing it. She was doing it before it was cool.
Yeah.
And now Janu was falling apart, and Tom talked to her, but then she apparently, I mean, according to Kobe, she's been like this, like her 9th day straight of basically like falling apart. So
yeah. Well, I will say that was one of the most like dad wholesome moments I've seen in Survivor. That was like. It was a great moment.
Unfortunately, it wasn't a pick-me-up for her, I guess.
No, I guess it didn't really work for very long. It's just like, oh, she's back to it. Yeah, Cody's like, she's back at it again, I see.
But now, where do we go from here? Because like they had teased early on the fact that Greg talked to Kobe about like they got to work together to take out Tom and Ian later on. So now it's like, well, it blew that wide open. We'll see.
Yeah, they like unanimously voted against him. So,
but then like Ian mentioned. Like the potential final 4 that they might want is Tom, Ian, Steph, and Katie. So that would be interesting if they try to do that.
Yeah.
But again, like Kobe was just like doing a lot. He was doing a lot. So now that it's like settled down, we'll see where things really stand here.
It's kind of if Greg was wanting to do that, he's kind of at even numbers now, right? Maybe he's not. Because we're at 8 now, so.
I mean, that's why I think that was the idea, is that they kind of needed to do that then if they were going to do that.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I don't know now. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if that was a good choice for Greg or not in the
long run. Yeah, I guess so.
Right. So as always, you can click the link in the description to see the highlights of our reaction, and then come back afterwards for the discussion. Okay.
All right. Wow, that was wild. What a bizarre episode. That was like one of the most of a season that's been full of kind of like sad and dour episodes. That episode was like really depressing for like most of it, and it just got like unbelievably hype at the very end.
It's a very
because of what it
complete
does.
narrative for this.
Yeah.
Like, really, it was all about how Janu was on the outs, and then Janu gets exiled, and then Janu
finds herself a little bit. She finds herself again, some clarity. She reevaluates and is like, no, I do want to go home. That's true. I found peace. I got what I needed out of this experience, and I want to go home.
And then the ultimate sacrifice.
I'll be willing to do that, to say that, because they want to keep me around for some sick, twisted game that I don't want to play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to play their game, so I'll sacrifice myself because somebody clearly wants this much more than I do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, we've said in the past, like, anyone who was willing to quit the game, it's like, it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not by no means am I saying that I necessarily... I mean, I don't agree with Janu's whole temperament about the whole game. I mean, she's been a sad sack for, forever. I mean, she's been miserable. She hasn't really taken much initiative. She hasn't really done anything. She's just kind of like, I don't know. It's a hard thing to really figure out, because it's clear that she's been on the outs. How much of that is of her own accord, of her own making, and how much of it is from other people? Hard to say because we're not there all the time. It's clear that there is a divide. It seems very... I mean, look, I even said during while we were watching, she doesn't seem like she's fun to be around at all. But like, I wouldn't kick her while she's down like they do. Like, that just felt mean.
The problem,
most of it.
Yeah, the thing is that it made perfect sense for her to quit here. Like, she had no reason to stay there.
No,
it was just more suffering because she clearly had no chance. The problem is that she basically gave up like 10 days ago or whatever.
Yeah, she gave up forever ago.
Like she was just dead in the water for this all this time.
Yeah.
So it was at that point basically where she actually quit, and then it's like,
so just flopping around here was kind of because she.
So this
she was
quit,
expecting...
the actual quit itself, isn't like as bad, because it's like, well, you didn't have like a good shot and you just threw it away, or you didn't have because you'd already basically thrown it away anyway.
Yeah, that to me, I think, is the clarity she found on the island, because she came back and she was a little bit more sure of herself, of her disposition, rather than just being Logie. She was like a little bit more peppy, and I gave up, and this is what I feel. I should be going home, and I'm not, and that's weird.
But in her quitting, she did throw a wrench in their plans, at least. Like, that's the only thing she could do, literally, because she's like, I can tell them I want to be voted out. I don't know if they'll do that. They probably won't even let me be voted out. So
yeah, considering the language of literally everyone in the thing was like, we got to get rid of the strong players. It's not about deserving, it's like, it's about strong survival. And it's like, wow, guys, really? We're really going to go there? But you can't make it more obvious that she's going home to her. Yeah. Who's already afraid that she is.
But they're all so unified that it's like, it doesn't matter. There's no there's no chance for it to go wrong, basically.
Yeah.
So this is the only thing that threw a wrench in their plans, because they literally didn't get a chance to vote.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all the credit to Greg. I feel like Greg.
All the credit.
Greg, like, he's right though. It's like, the story is building of Stephanie. We need to.
Oh yeah.
He's like anti-entertainment, but he's like, we just need to put an end to this.
I totally agree. I was making fun of him. He was like, I want this story about me, and I was like, but he should. He should. No, that's honestly, that is the perspective. If you want to win the Survivor, that's the perspective. He has a gamer mentality, and I dig that.
Yeah. And he's exposing the flaw of letting a tribe demolish itself, because then you have the one person that comes out and they have the perfect story. So you don't want that person to get to the end, because she did survive 11 tribal councils in a row.
That's why.
When all the others have survived like 2 or 3 now,
Yeah. Right.
It's like, so like the odds were already insurmountable. Like, she had to be the one to make it out of her tribe, and now she's the one against a whole tribe, So it's rough.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, people are talking about deserving, but I don't care about deserving. This is Survivor. It's not about deserving. It's about what's going to get me where I need to be,
Yeah.
So I like
Yeah,
that, and I did really like how the tribal council handled everything too, like the conversation and like even the drama of it all. And he was like talking to Tom about it, and like Stephanie just getting all emotional too. It was so good.
Yeah, I mean, you felt it. You felt. I mean, I mean, like, it is a perfect story for her. Like, it would. I mean, she is. She's the scrappiest person, other than like Tom. She's really in it. You know, it's like she wants it probably more than anyone because of that has faced 11 tribal councils. You know, but yeah, I mean, like, and it's crazy. Here's the thing, though. As you talked about, you brought up that the deserving kind of thing, and I do actually want to offer a counter to that, because I think oftentimes when we are discussing when we're discussing the people who win,
mm-hmm.
Do you think Jenna Maraska was really deserving of the $1 million? But she won.
Mm-hmm.
But she wouldn't really deserve it. I don't think anyone would think that. But she's like, I think she's the last on both of our lists in terms of survivors. But she was a survivor. She won.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't deserving. So why do they keep her around? That's to me that argument only goes so far.
Well, that's what they're saying, is they don't want that to happen. Like, they don't want Janu to sneak to the end and then like somehow win.
But Janu wouldn't have snuck to the end.
Yeah.
No, his whole thing about the deserving is a cut against Stephanie, because she's the most deserving. But it doesn't matter. The person who's most deserving shouldn't win. We'll keep along the person who literally wants to quit the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but like I can't get behind that philosophy entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would, maybe it's a weird like amount of sportsmanship, and maybe that's too generous for Survivor. It could be too generous for Survivor. I don't know if I can be as hard and dirty of a player as I like to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it would be feel a lot better for me, more entertaining for me, to have somebody that I can actually challenge and go up against, rather than somebody who literally wants to quit.
Yeah.
And she did quit. So
well, that's the thing with Survivors. Everybody has different philosophies, so you can have that philosophy, and that's why juries vote based on different things and different things they value. So it's like, I'm like,
it's kind of crazy.
I like the people that talk about deserving. I like that idea of wanting to go against the best, but obviously, on paper, the right thing to do is to vote out the person who's the threat to you getting to the end. So.
I think there's definite layers to it, but in an instance such as this, I don't know if I could be conniving enough to go versus somebody who wants to quit versus the person who has worked the hardest in this game. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can. To me, the person who wants to quit, they're not even. They shouldn't even be considered an option.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what Ian was saying, and I agree with that. Yeah. It was like, well, she has the option to, which she ultimately did. She had the option to lay down her torch whenever. Like, we're not keep forcing anyone to be here, but if you're gonna give us the option. To like take out a threat or someone who doesn't want to be here, so they'll probably just take themselves out of the equation anyway. And then you're gonna pick the threat. I get that,
but the thing that sucks the most about the position that him and Tom are in is that they were in alliance with her, but they're sort of forced. Their hand is forced by Greg somehow, which I don't know if I mean Greg's argument makes sense. I guess maybe that's why they didn't feel like they had any ground to argue it without revealing that they had an alliance.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like there had to have been some way they could have convinced him. There had to have been something.
They definitely could have tried more.
I felt like they just didn't try. They were just like, oh, okay, I guess
maybe
that's the way it
they're
is.
fine.
Break all the shots.
Maybe they're fine with their position. Like they don't need Stephanie.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know. We'll see how it pans out. Like if Ian thinks he has Katie, then that's a 3.
Yeah.
Potentially against Greg and Jen if it gets down to that. So they could still have the edge there, but I don't know.
It's hard to say now because it looks like at least she's going to try. I don't know how successful she will be. Mm-hmm. But it looks like Stephanie's going to be trying to rally the women against the men on the team.
But this is almost like the tribal council where Angie got voted out.
Yeah.
because it was supposed to be Ibrahim, and he got saved. It was supposed to be Stephanie, and she got saved like by no credit of her own. You know, it's like everybody was set to write down Stephanie's name, and they just like by virtue of Janu doing that, then they weren't able to. So now it's like literally nothing has changed. So she really has to change everyone's whole outlook. You know. So it's not only that she's at the bottom, it's that she would have been voted out.
Right, but I think now she has because all of the plans have been made so clear, she has a ground with these women who are like not like I don't think they're really taking the game. I don't like them at all. I don't think they're taking the game very seriously. I mean, they're like making fun of a woman who's like almost drowning in a previous challenge, and then she like goes away, and they're like, "Ha, she has to be at the beach by herself." And I was like, like what?
That's
like,
a part of this narrative as well.
What's wrong with you? Like, I'm sorry, but like, you might not like her, but that just is like, it's just as mean spirited. And even Jeff is like, what the hell's that? Like, he's even like,
well, that's the thing is that like Jeff will do that sometimes because like the tribe, they put themselves in this bubble basically.
Yeah.
So to them, they might not even see it as bad because there's so much of like an us versus them mentality that's established. Where Janu's the outsider, so it's almost. I mean, that's with like bullying and things in general, you know, in this mob mentality.
Yeah,
but I'm saying Jeff sees it from the outside like we do, basically.
That's what I mean. Yeah, Jeff is like, it's like a reality check for like this is how just so you know, it's not playing very well. It's almost like I'm commenting the way the audience would comment if they were maybe a little bit more articulate and less, you know, prone to flare ups. But yeah, he tells it like it is sometimes like that. It's great. I like it.
Yeah,
I like the reality check he sometimes provides because they shut up after that.
Because
too.
they were just laughing at her, and then she was like, "Oh, it doesn't seem like there's any love lost between these guys." And they're like, "Oh, no, that's not."
He was like, "Really?" Because you were literally just laughing and making fun of her,
and they're like, "Oh,"
and then they were like, "Yeah, okay."
I guess you're right. Never thought of it that way.
Well, I never thought of it that way. What a loser.
So that was a part of this story too. It's a full-on Janu arc. Like Janu, unfortunately, didn't have much of a presence other than being the person who's falling apart for some time now. And so
she made fire by herself. That was kind of nice. You know, it was like, wow.
I'm saying this episode put her on the map in a much bigger way than she has been. Way.
Yeah, for sure.
Like from being the outcast to actually literally being outcast to an island by herself. Coming back and then outcasting herself.
Yeah,
it's like,
she's like, I am the outcast. I will
am the outcast. I'll just I'll leave. I'll see myself out. But it's interesting.
Well, she's still gonna be on the jury though. That's interesting.
She quit, but he's like, you're still gonna be on the jury. I guess he just didn't want it to mess up the numbers, like, so they never had to really deal with that dilemma before. But. Because obviously it's fine because she'll be in fine conditions over in the jury, so there's no fear for struggling there. But it's just that's just the virtue of like you can just remove yourself from the game and be a part of the jury. It's kind of weird, but
it's a little bit it's kind of weird. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, she regardless of whenever she was voted out, she has a spot on the jury now because she's made it this far. So
yeah,
she's been dragged along this far. I mean. Yeah, basically.
But I guess they'd rather have that, like, you take yourself out of the game and go to the jury than have the person who's like, well, I guess I have to just suffer until they vote me out so I can at least be part of the jury here.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, just take yourself out. With the quitters, just take yourself out. It's fine. Just leaves. I'd rather not have people that don't want to be there. That's not a fun show to watch, you know.
Yeah, like Jeff's statement when I can never remember his name. This is the first guy that quit, showing a little booty.
Austin.
When Austin quit, he made the comment like, there are people that have worked too hard for too long that really want it for people like that to be in the game, and it's like that's how I feel 100% about Janu even. And even despite the fact that I'm kind of lauding the fact that she did what she did, it's like she should have probably done that like ages ago. Like she was just kind of like, well, I'll just let fate kind of have its way, and it's like, well, okay.
I guess she needed this exile for that to happen.
Yeah.
Well, she seemed like she needed this tribal council. She didn't figure it out until like they started talking about it. She was gonna just let Stephanie be voted out.
Yeah.
Before this, so.
And she actually was she's like, well, now that I think about it, yeah.
There's no difference actually.
Yeah, I should just leave.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But then they handled the quit a little more gracefully than Austin, which was just complete shame. But I guess Jeff just had a soft spot for her, I guess, watching it unfold.
I mean, it was kind of hard. I mean, with Austin, he literally just like kind of gave up. With her, it was like a decline from like 10 days ago. She's lost it, you know?
I mean, Austin had been wanting to leave for some time as well.
I guess that's true.
But it would have been interesting if he made it to the jury phase. It would have been interesting to see like how Jeff would handle it then.
Yeah.
With the same exit.
He would have broken his staff in half.
You will not be a part of this jury, and I'll never see you again. Go home.
You're not even coming to the reunion, as far as I'm concerned.
It's quite an episode.
That was an episode, that's for sure.
The challenge, I actually really enjoy this challenge. I think it's great, a great challenge.
I like it in concept, but as we were kind of observing, I noticed that it does favor masculine faces much more.
Is that like fact? Is that?
I would say on average, masculine faces are more like angular, and whereas because like, I mean, well, look at this cast. Most of the women carry a little bit of bone of like a fat here, a little extra, kind of like me. I'm not like because I don't eat very healthy. I've gained weight, so I hold a little weight here. Mm-hmm. Most of the men, it's like other than like Janu and maybe Karen. I always think like Carolyn because of the way her name is spelled. That's Karen. Maybe them, but like all the other girls have very like broad sort of cheekbones. All the men have very like here in this particular region here are very like thin and are able to they were able to push right up through, whereas everyone else was having trouble getting up there.
Yeah, but isn't that just their build?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe
and the men just also happen to be those three men happen to be like some of the best at competitions anyway.
But I also didn't really understand like why like Ian was like dying underwater while like he was fully submerged with the bars, mm-hmm. whereas Tom was just like he was fine still. He was like
that's because
here, and the water was like down here on him.
Yeah, the water level is probably different, right?
Then so it's completely up to chance then at the end.
That's what I was thinking. Like, there's no way they can have it perfectly scientifically worked out. It's based on the tide. You could have it. You could have it deeper in the water. It didn't look like they were very far out. Maybe have it further out into the ocean, and then slowly lower it rather than doing like we'll just wait for the tide. I mean, the tide's natural. I guess that it makes sense to do it that way. But you have this weird uneven balance that just happened to favor Tom, and it's just like so. It's weird. I don't know. But life favors Tom, so
yes, it does.
He got that.
He doesn't need luck favoring him. That's just cheap.
Leave something for the rest of us, Tom.
I like it in concept because you have to deal with like the sort of claustrophobicness of it. You have to deal with the cold. You have to deal with just water slowly rising, which is stressful. Yeah, I like it in concept. I think in practice it just completely fell apart for me.
But they did some cool shots and there's chilling music playing too.
Yeah, there was like horrifying music. Like I said, it was like this is probably the scariest thing that's happened. Even scarier than anything that happened in Vanuatu. So, but
is there anything else outside of the Janu of it all? I feel like that's everything.
I mean, even they were even kicking her while she was eating food, and she was trying to stomach food, and she couldn't like keep food down. She was trying to couldn't keep food down, and they were even like, "Wow, she's ruining this." Even,
what a fucking
and I was like,
buzzkill, bro.
I know. It was like, what in the world? This poor woman probably can't eat like stomach food.
Like, we can't take this chick anywhere, bro.
Yeah, that's that was it was 100% that energy big time. Yeah, I mean, it starts off with like Katie making fun of her and like gossiping, and then getting all upset because Janu was like, maybe just tell it to my face next time. And then she was like, yeah, she was making a face at me when she was doing that too. It was like, boy, okay. And then Greg's like, yeah, Janu, what a buzzkill. What a freaking buzzkill.
Yeah, that's like the thing with Survivors. There's moments like this all throughout Survivor where there's like the one person on the outs, and sometimes a little bit of like bullying that happens, or like you make them feel more left out than you need to.
Yeah.
So that's why like the most courageous Survivor players are the ones that'll actually like stand up for that player. You see that every now and then.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a specific example, but I remember seeing that in the past where it's like, okay, she's on the outs, like, but we can,
maybe don't like, don't like kick her while she's down, like, like that was the thing.
You didn't really have that here.
It felt meat. No one, because
it
Greg's
had
like,
to be Jeff.
Greg's like, yes, good, kick her while she's down. She's not deserving, but she's part of my plan. Like that was kind of how that felt. And then Tom was just like, yeah, whatever, I don't care anymore. Like he's not. Remember how he was the one that sort of reached out to her? Now he's not even. He doesn't care anymore. Even once, remember how she was eating food? She was eating the food and Tom was like, we can't bring this chick anywhere.
Yeah, Karen did it too. But notice how Katie, even when she was talking about it, I think it was Katie.
Yeah, it was.
She was like, she knew was eating the food, and then I think Karen did it too. But what are we gonna say? Like even then, it was like, oh, Janu did this awful thing, even though Karen also did it. But let's not focus on that.
Yeah,
it doesn't work for my narrative here.
Yeah. It's like the prompt was, so what do you think about Janu? And then she rattles off things she hates about her for the next 20 minutes. Boy.
I can't stress enough how much I actually really enjoyed that tribal council. I thought it was really effective, and just seeing Stephanie like in her last moments pretty much.
Oh my gosh. I was feeling it. I was there for her. I felt for her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you feel it. You feel that because it's like you want something so badly, and it seems like there's nothing you can do to get it.
And
like
she's right next brutal. To the person who didn't care if she was there.
Yeah, anymore. That's brutality. That's like life right there. You know, that was a small slice of painful bit of reality right there. It was awful. It was heartfelt. You know, it was like
I love that raw emotion.
Yeah, raw emotion at tribal council is always great. I mean, it makes for good TV. It makes for good just entertainment, but it's there's something like visceral and relatable about it too. So yeah, I fell for it. You know,
Alec, who would you name as your MVP for the episode?
Yeah, it's funny because Stephanie really didn't have much to do in this episode until the very end. I mean, the MVP. I mean, you gotta give it. I don't know if I can actually give it to Janu.
To the quitter.
Yeah, I don't know if I can give it to her. You know,
it was her episode. Though.
It was her episode. I mean, like I'm tempted to give it to Greg because of he had this whole master plan. He had the best arguments for like what keeping her around. You know,
Greg is like fuck a TV show, bro. I'm trying to win this money.
Yeah, I know. which you know what? I can kind of be it behind that sentence. It's like, yeah, screw that. Screw the narrative. You know?
Same like monotone delivery that he's got
he's
too.
Like, yeah, whatever. I don't care about that. You know what? I given it to Janu. Yes, I gave it to a quitter. I could never. You never would have.
Quitters prosper every now and then.
If you told me that ahead of time that I would be giving an MVP to a quitter of this game, I never would have believed myself.
I would have offed myself right there.
I would have just thrown myself off the top of this building.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Quitter.
See, yeah. But I mean, it was an episode of clarity, of focus, of getting kicked while down and her just kind of accepting it and then finally realizing, hey, maybe I should have done this a while ago, but I guess now's a good enough time to do it. And completely changed the whole. I mean, you said the dynamics haven't changed, but I think they have. I think that action changes a lot of stuff because it throws a wrench in plans now. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but it didn't seem like it was a part. Like I think Greg was even saying the next would be Janu, so I didn't think she was a part of any long-term plans. You know, it was almost like
Yeah,
interchangeable.
The plan was. I mean, he might have. I mean, maybe I don't know. He might have kept her around again if he thought about
They
it.
might have ended up, yeah.
But the plan is get rid of the strongest threats. That's the master plan, and can't do that now. So now you've got a threat that's still around. So.
But the same numbers on your side, though, so she's got a lot of work to do.
It is, yeah, it's true. But I don't know. With the impassioned plea, appealing to emotions. I mean, even Tom seemed like he was kind of regretting it too. I mean, he did sort of convince himself at the end where it's like has nothing to do with that. It's all about the game. That's a totally different thing.
She'd be welcome on 108 truck.
Yeah, it's like okay.
With Downton Survivors.
You can say that. We'll have to see where it goes going forward because maybe he can stick to that. I don't know. We'll see. This just took a whole new tone though. Again.
So what would your power rankings be for the final 7?
Stephanie did go down, I think. But I think it is. I think Greg, because Greg's calling the shots now. Tom didn't seem to have much of anything to say against him. I would say Greg, Tom, Ian, Stephanie's in the middle because there's a lot of opportunity for her to advance here. She does have an opportunity to steal some support. So I think I would put her next. Karen, Katie,
Jen,
sure. Yeah, whatever her name is. She's so important to this game.
Greg
right now.
At the top, Jen at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Another Friday night for them.
Yes, I'm sure it probably is.
The Alpha and the Omega. Greg and Jen.
The first and the last. The top and the bottom.
Oh boy.
The big spoon and the little spoon. All right.
Who are you rooting for still? Like at this point, who are you rooting for?
I mean, it is kind of like a rote thing where it's like Stephanie because I mean she has the narrative. That's the thing. We like good stories. Human beings love stories. I like good stories. She has a great story. I'm rooting for her. I'm kind of also rooting now more for Greg because despite the fact that I completely philosophically disagree with keeping Janu around, I like the fact that he's like, yeah, let's screw the story. I want to win this game just as bad as she does, and he does. I genuinely believe he wants to win the game as bad as she does. I think he does. And I'm curious to see if he can wheel and deal here, but I don't know. We'll see.
We've got to put a stop to this story.
Yeah,
we got to put an end to it. So who would be your worst case scenario winner of Survivor Palau?
Worst case scenario?
Yeah.
I mean, probably Jen or Katie.
Either
of those would be horrible. I would probably like barf. I don't know.
The story's brewing. The story's brewing for the big Jen win
of their rise. Yeah, maybe if Stephanie rallies them, they technically have a chance to win, which is wild to think about. Yeah.
There's always a chance. There's no deserving. It's the Survivor, baby.
Here's the thing, though. She's got a lot. I will. Now that I'm thinking about it a little more, you're all right in the fact that she does have a lot to. She has a lot to sort of overcome because she has to convince them that she's not just going to destroy each and every one of them in the final tribal because she would. Mm-hmm. Like nobody in their right mind would
the
be
only
like.
Argument you can make is that it'll be an all Karor jury if they're that bitter about it. If they're that loyal to their damn tribe.
Yeah.
You know.
I'd rather vote for Jen than vote for Stephanie.
Karor or bust.
Jen, whose entire character arc in this whole show has been, I think Greg is cute. Mm-hmm. I like men. Greg is a man.
Can I get a shower?
And can I get an amen? Shower? Can I get an amen? And then Katie, whose entire character arc has been about, it starts with a
P, ends with an O.
I still can't get over how stupid that was. Puddle.
Still think pickle would have been way more hype than Pringles.
Pickle.
Pickles. No way. I've been waiting for pickles.
Puddles?
Puddle party? Yes.
Puddle party. Hell yeah.
No, it's Pringles.
Oh, okay. Why didn't you just say Why did you even say that at all? Why
Fuck,
did you just
I
say
wanted
Pringles?
some pickles.
Man,
You got me excited for pickles.
I wanted one of those pickles, those single pickles you can buy in a bag and just eat a pickle.
Like the barrel of pickles, yeah. Okay.
All right.
Wow.
That was an adventure.
Yeah, come back next week for more Survivor Palau. I'm also going through Survivor 41 every week, man. We're in double digits now. That means we're towards the end game here, baby. Episode 11 is next, so we're getting down to it. Okay. Thank you for watching. What video would you recommend our viewers watch after this?
After this, everyone likes a good story. Everyone likes a good story. Go watch the last episode of Survivor All Stars that we recorded. Go watch the
reunion or the America's Tribal Council.
Go watch the reunion.
Go watch the reunion. Episode.
Yeah, go check it out. Everybody likes a good story. There's a good story that he had there. You know,
there was a good story, wasn't it? Boston Rob and Amber all the way.
Yeah, it was a good story. Everybody likes good stories.
The question was in the air: are they going to do it? Someone said they are going to do it, and they did it.
And they did do that several times, in fact, and we have the proof.
Allegedly. Allegedly. So, wow. Survivor, baby. A lot of Survivor goodness here.
There has been.
Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to our podcast feed. Like the video. Leave a comment. Hit the notification bell. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And like us on Facebook at Tarqaron TWO. All right.